It's another beautiful evening. Whenever you find yourself, this is KMTV. My name is Nathan Charles, sitting in the presenter seat on the Diaspora Talk from Brooklyn Center in Minneapolis, the United States. Looking at issues that occurred during the week, I have invited Papi Sylvia Corley and James Aquin to look at the major issues that happening in Liberia. As you know, it was tense during the entire week. A new batch of U.S. sanctioned officials were released, the like of Tue, Chie, and Nikwe, who happens to be in the House of Representatives, the Liberian Senate. The names came out on the sanction list for the United Nations, for the U.S. government. Also, the race to the speakership has intensified. We've seen names coming up, surfacing, and Musa Hassan Bedete has lower his aim for the deputy speakership. We'll be hearing from the lawmakers of the Unity Party. How are they collaborating to form an alignment? Also, Jefferson Kochi also appeared in court to answer to calls in the case involving former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott. And we'll be looking at Joseph Human Boakai visit to the United States. What is expected under the Joseph Human Boakai leadership? The Diaspora Talk will be looking at all of these issues in Liberia and around the world. We'll be discussing the U.S. sanction, looking at the impact it has on the outgoing government of President George Weah. I have my guests, Papi Sylvia Corley and James Aquay. Gentlemen, welcome to the Diaspora Talk.
Yeah, how are you? And welcome again, Nita. Thank you for inviting me, and I guess definitely it's going to be a wonderful deliberation out here.
Well, Nathan, it's good to be back here. This is a melting point for us to come here to be able to discuss issues relating to our country. Like talking point that have been listed is something that is very interesting. Like today, just few minutes ago, Senator-elect of Bapul County, Amara Mohammed Kane, just concluded a town hall with schools of Liberians here in the city of Philadelphia, and it was a very interesting one as well.
Okay, great. We will come to you to give us more details, a summary of what was said and the reaction from Liberians there. But let's look at our first talking point here. The United States government came up with a new batch of Liberians who they sanctioned. Among them is Liberia's finance minister Samuel Tue, also a lawmaker in Liberia, Emmanuel Nukwe, who ran with Joseph Human Boakai in previous election as vice running mate. Also, the like of Chie, who is Senate pro tem. Now, these things are happening under the CDC leadership. What is it like for them? How are they coping with the situation? Let's see if we can play you clips from their response. Then we go into you guys' reaction. Let's start off with Chie first when he spoke about the U.S. sanction. I always say UN. It's the United States sanction on the government officials in Liberia. Chie first, and then we'll play you two. Then we'll come back to you guys.
The Senate never have I taken a dime from any source and offer it to any of my colleagues in any of the legislative chambers or to any of our staff to manipulate legislative processes. Clearly, Washington has been missed.
Oh, that's Imari or Awachi they're speaking. Let's play you what the finance minister of Liberia, who is on the sanction of the U.S. government, said. For him, he's not taking this like that. He's going to fight it.
We live today. Power can be used to construct, and it can equally be used to destroy. In this digital information age, the age of social media, where information moves faster to impact or to destroy, there is a role in the American value regime for corrective justice. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy's luminous inaugural lit the flame of the moral arc of American global leadership and have been exercised since the dawn of the 20th century. Kennedy said, and I quote, "To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bounds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves. Whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Unquote. Kennedy's admonition have been in full swing as the beacon of American altruism and will remain in full swing for the more than 6 decades since his death. No other country has borne the burden of history to right the grievous wrongs of the 20th century than the United States. America played a major role in the defeat of German Nazism and is the bedrock of the
After a huge meal, my husband is pretty shocked.
Which is why the headquarters of the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund are located in the United States. America funded the Marshall Plan to rebuild Germany. America has contributed the biggest aid to all of Africa and to the Third World in the last 6 decades since the demise of John F. Kennedy. America has hugely helped the spread of Christianity and Christian values of love and forgiveness around the world. We are missing something I had publicly said on the radio months before the findings of the Crow report were released. And through a GNC report, and though a GNC audit report on 25 million have shown that I have had nothing to do with monies at the CBL, members of the opposition made sure this misinformation were kept on files in the United States. In a meeting with Democratic U.S. Congressman Jim McGovern of the state of Massachusetts in Washington, D.C., I was stunned by the level of detail in the misinformation given to U.S. congressional leaders against the CDC. The congressman told the Liberian delegation in the meeting that President Weah proposed a 2020 national referendum because he wanted to serve for three terms. But we clarified that this was not the case and that he had been misled by opposition surrogates. The congressman said, quote, "Y'all got to be here in Washington every week to give us correct information."
You listened there to Samuel Tue reacting to the U.S. sanction on him. He said for him, he's going to fight it. What do you make of that, Papi?
Well, first of all, it is his God-given right if he has that power to fight whatever way he wants to fight it, because it has to do with his integrity. It has to do with the integrity of his family. As we speak, the detail of the sanction, the designated, even his minor children, from 2000, his first child was born 2013, and he just had another child in 2023. So these are detailed information that were included or embedded within the reports that were released by the United States Treasury Department. But this will interest you to know that Mr. Samuel Tue will do all he can. Because first of all, the United States, especially the Treasury Department, cannot designate you without a concrete evidence. So it is left with the government of Joseph Boakai, or it is left with Mr. Samuel Tue, who claimed that he's going to fight it. I don't know what means, whether he's going to come to the United States to go to court or where and how.
He has visa restriction. He can't come to the States. So it's
So-
off the record. He
so-
has lawyers. He has money to hire a lawyer.
That's what I mean. That was
Or
just my
lobbyist.
next point. So whether it's going to be through his lobbyist or it's going to be through his legal counsel, it is his right to be able to exonerate himself. Because this is not only for Mr. Samuel Tue alone. They are talking about his minor children. So for that reason, it is very much important, whatever way he think he can fight it. But let me say this. We have this parable, 99 days for rule, 1 day for master. This is the 99 day has ended, and the master is the United States. Have just grabbed him. So let Mr. Samuel Tue start to grandstand. Something that he does, it's vivid. This guy is grossly incompetent and grossly corrupt. Criminally corrupt. Criminally corrupt. You could see how funds were diverted, mismanaged under the leadership of this gentleman for 6 years as finance minister. He feels he was the most smartest person to have just dribbled everybody. And guess what? You know, the destination announcement came a day before the departure of his entire family from Liberia for the United States. They went to the embassy, they got the required visa, and the day they are about to depart, the sanction came out, including his wife, his man, children, everybody. So it will not surprise me if at the end of the day, few weeks from now, we'll be hearing that Madame Toure has divorced Samuel Toure, but it cannot still help her because we are seeing it with Vivian Innes, Maguire. As we speak, even all of her social media handles has been changed from Miguel to Ennis, which is she's not carrying her father's name. I mean, this is something at the end of the day, these guys thought that they can just come and rob the country, rob the Liberian people, and walk scot-free, go sit in their luxury mansions, ill-gotten wealth, and at the end of the day, while the vast majority of the Liberian people struggle. One key thing later I want you to know here, the act created by this gentleman, the first 90 days of Mr. Joseph Yuma Boaka to get to, I mean, because the payroll of civil servant has been blotted by the CDC-led government. It will be something that will be very difficult. I don't know who has been tipped to be finance minister, but they will have to do all they can. They will have to do all they can to put that under control, or else these guys are leaving, going into opposition. They have the money, they have everything. The first 90 days, at the end of the day, if civil servant cannot take pay, even the February that come, the February pay, if they cannot get even January pay, we'll start hearing about protestation. And those guys are going into opposition, which is the CDC of Mr. George Weah. These people will sponsor the hooligans. At the end of the day, we'll start hearing about protests all over just to get the new government distracted. So the new government needs to be very careful.
Okay.
They need to be very careful. They need to be very careful because those guys created a serious problem financially. The country is completely stranded as we speak.
Okay, Papi, let's hold you there. Let's bring in James Akwe. Mr. Akwe, what do you make of Tues and Nikwe and Chie on name on this U.S. sanction and the reaction so far?
Again, Nathan, I will say this much. When I first, when the news first, broke out, I would say definitely I was highly elated. I was very happy. I mean, as a result of the slamming of sanctions, Manisky, and all individuals who continue to rob the people of Liberia. And again, I can only hope that people who will be coming to power will see this and will learn. You don't come to power and you begin to see government and as a cow to butcher anyhow.
A
And that's
church.
how, yeah, and that's how the guys, most of them, especially from the CDC, took government to be. The first time, we started hearing about corruption and the rest of it, this alight of something to a really came or started with the French. Imagine, my brother, this guy lives in Abidjan. I spent some time in the Ivory Coast, very expensive place. They elected the government. The men went to Africa with bags of US dollar. Bags of US dollar. Attempting to own a home and property and the rest of it. So that radar has been on tour for long. Then this came this Kroll report, and in the very report, it was stated that the mopping up exercise resulted into a situation where and financial institutions that they say they presented money to, and most of those institutions, most of the institutions even do not exist. And this for money intended to see how well the issue of and the economic situation in the country could be tackled by reducing the number of Liberian dollar on the market. Two and others came and saw this as an opportunity to get more money. The king of a presidential task force was set up. How far did it go? And that one again also went under the carpet, with President Weah not saying anything. So there are so many wrongs and evils that Tuel and others, including Nukwe, did to the Liberian people. So to begin to hold them real tight and squeeze them and make them to account for the many wrongs they did to the Liberian people, I see it as liberation, I see it as freedom, and I see this as a time and an opportunity where Liberians should be much more jubilant. For me, I feel a lot for, especially for those kids. Those are the people I really feel for. Those young children, a good bit of them don't know anything. 5, 6 years old, what do they know?
But do you think the US government that respects human rights would just look at people, kids, and wife without finding any link, financial link to them, and just sanction them? Because I was telling somebody, like in the US, people do life insurance, where annuity. People also do investment saving. You could put in four, 5,000, $100,000 into your kids' account, and with the aim, or you can even do a CD, right? Which is a satisfied deposit for full 5 years. So there must be some link for me. I'm thinking with that kid. So until more details are provided, and because I know the US would not, crimes are not transferable to just hold you because James Akwe did this. There must be some link. What do you think? Why are you reading, James? That's what
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
reading.
yeah. So let me just come in with
I
that.
come in. That's
Let
James
me,
complete. You just come in. Oh, James left. Oh, go ahead, Papi.
so first of all, the way you're thinking is the same way myself was thinking, but information gathered and we still trying to authenticate it, that investigation conducted that 6 of Samuel Tue kids, the first one that were born 2013.
These are allegations because we don't have no facts with it. So let's keep that
Nathan,
allegation. Let's keep it like that.
Nathan, these are the grounds according to my souls. These are the grounds. These are the grounds. When they check at the end of the day, all 6 of those kids, $1 million each, in the endowment funds, in their name. You talk about annuity, which, I mean, like for example, you can born your kids in the US. You decide to say, okay, I'm going to save, let's say, 100K, 50K into a CD or whatever means, or OGMA account that you cannot withdraw from until that child term maturity, and then you turn it over to them. This case is different. It's completely different. Neto, it's completely different. Like with Albert Chie, you as president pro tempore, what do you think that the United States government or the United States will decide as a pro tem? They sanction, they designated you, and they designated your spies alone. I mean, it just speak volumes of terrible and horrible things that these guys created or did to our country. the ignorant Liberian people or the innocent Liberian people are sitting there calling these people leaders. If, for example,
Honorables.
Honorables, those are not honorable behaviors. You go ahead, you steal from the people that you're leading. You leave them in poverty, starvation. Nathan, between you and myself, go to your messenger. Go see the number of messages that are there. If we're just responding to it, you think we'll be able to take it ourselves here? Go see the number of messages. All because the capacity is not there. The way means it's not there. People are struggling. Even to get something to eat, it's difficult. The greedy gods and wicked people are the ones that just cutting the shots, taking the money, and begging the money.
Like Emmanuel Nukwe said, he can come to America anytime. There's a video on social
Boastfully,
media.
yeah, boastfully.
And one thing I listened to Samuel Tue, he said is a violation of his right. And when I invited Wedding Williams, she made it clear that it is not Samuel Tua's right to come to the US. It is not his right for his children to, it's a privilege. Even when he's in the US, it's a privilege. They can strip you of your status anytime.
Thank you.
And he said it is his right.
The very day that you're going to go do that naturalization or the paper that will be given you, you know, Nathan, and I know it's clearly indicated. You are just a natural. You're not. At the end of the day, one minute you off. You on the next available flight. You on the next available flight. So having seen the United States violated his right, what right is he talking about? The right to steal the Liberian people money and come sit somewhere and enjoy it. That is purely unacceptable.
So let's listen to what he said here. There's a quote. He said, "The recent destination are a mere strategy to disorganize the CDC while the incoming government struggles to find its bearing and to prevent a powerful, experienced, and knowledgeable CDC from mounting the fences, political opposition," he said. So he said this is a clear tactics by the US government.
Nathan, I just told you the man spoke about sophisticated, well-sophisticated CDC or opposition. I just told you, Nathan, these people, they stole our money. They got our money stuck in their houses.
If people still keeping money in homes.
I'm telling you, the boys are not using bank. I'm telling you, the boys are not using bank.
You were in the US. What concrete facts
brother,
can you provide?
There are people that work with them, and we speak to them on a daily basis. Like Nathaniel McGill, for example, Nathaniel McGill. Right? I spoke to someone who is very close to him. He said, brother, even when the man give campaign where we're going with bag of money, the money is not coming from central bank. The money is not coming from no financial institution. No money can be packaged right within the house, and we put it on the car and we take it over on the campaign trail. Where were he getting the money from? Where were he getting the money from?
These people, they got businesses.
McGay has repeatedly said he has no business outside, and he denied everything that people say he owns. So what type of business? Or the island like he built for his 36-year-old wife? Is that where maybe that the money making machine is just generating money overnight? Nathan, let's be serious here. When this man is talking about the sanction is intended to destroy CDC, I just told you, the boys, they have the money. And if this new government is not careful, Nathan, in 90 days' time, you'll be hearing about major protests in the country. And those protests will be funded by the CDC just to be able to destabilize the country. Okay, they already, one second, let me on the talk. They are already with that mindset, right? They are with that mindset that the country is heavily divided. Whether the new government is trying to establish a pathway to reconciliation The fact of the matter, those buggers still have the money in their houses. They will find means to be able to destabilize our country through protests. That's their tactics.
James Akwe, you were speaking, but you went off.
Yeah.
Samuel
So
Tua is saying it's a violation of his right to be stripped of visa for he and his family. Do he have a right to that? And go ahead with the other thought.
and I don't know. I don't know why would he see that as a right, as his, personal right, and the rest of it. I know. I think even without a sanction, it's still a privilege to come to this country. And so I wouldn't want to dive into that much. It's a privilege, and Mr. Tuash, you understand that. I mean, this is the 21st century, and people should tend to do things, in line with civil responsibilities and functions and responsibilities, and not engaging into, I mean, the old days of riding the bikes of the tacos and doing whatever you want to do and getting away with it. That culture of impunity. No, this is not Liberia, and this is, a system. We're talking about a system. Yeah, a system. I mean, that has also gone through its own trying time, but I mean, living up to basic creeds, to the rule of law, to responsibility, to and, and teaching, people around the world that yes, this is the right thing to do, and not business as usual like we do, or we would say, in our Liberian parlance. So I don't see, his coming to the U.S. should be a right. No, it's a privilege. Even let's forget about the Meniski, sanction and the rest of it. So let Mr. Tue be able to defend himself and present his case and issues. I mean, in the competent court of jurisdictions, where he will be able and to prove beyond all reasonable doubts that he's been lied upon, that he did not, siphon the money intended for projects, money intended to help build schools, money intended and to alleviate the pains and agonies of the Liberian people, money intended for roads, money intended for like NASCAP is for what? If for employment, let will be able to convince the world and the Liberian people alike. But in short, definitely, and his hand was caught in the cookies jar. So yes, he's being punished as such. And I know how he feels. Like just before I went off, I was saying earlier, I feel a lot, for those kids. I feel a lot for those children. I mean, 4 5 years old, and only to come to these things, and this stigma, you know, it's going to live. They're going to live forever long. This is a lifelong sanction. I listened to Catherine Rodriguez, the charge affair at the U.S. Embassy there in Monrovia. This is a lifelong something. So it's not something to really play with. I know how they really feel.
Now let's hear from you, Papi. Uh, they Tua is saying that he will use all legal means to ensure justice upon him and his family. What is the government stand or the incoming government? What can they do right now? Because hey, somebody have already raised a flag that some of your officials are corrupt. What can the incoming government do? What's the right steps?
First thing, Nathan, like I said, it is about time to take the bull by the horn. It has been indicated, the red flag has been shown. All the incoming government can do now is to begin the process by making sure that those individual names can submit themselves to investigation so that we can be able to understand clearly, or the government can have a clear understanding on how and what's the way forward for them. But to just allow it and sweep it under the carpet, this is a dangerous sign. So it is my cry to the incoming government to make sure work with the requisite authority or leadership or institution that is responsible for this, for the imposition of these destination on these individuals, to get the kind of information that they need so that they can be able to move forward as a government. As a government, it should not only be, and now at the end of the day, they be. In fact, with all of these big allegations that we're hearing about, it is about time the African Union, the European Union, even the UN should ban them. They should also have a UN traveling ban. Like what happening to Edwin Snow? Edwin Snow could not even go to Sierra Leone border. You know, that he would be well disciplined at the end of the day. But I mean, but restricting them, not receiving visa to come here. These people will get on plane, they'll go to China or wherever, they'll go to enjoy this, I mean, stolen wealth at the detriment of the Liberian people, or they'll be sitting somewhere, they'll be instigating violence. These people are terrible people.
Go ahead, Akwe.
Yeah, Nathan, you know, talking about what can the incoming government, you know, what can the incoming government do? I will start like this. In the first place, you know, once we have a credible, sincere, honest and government, you observe that they will begin to take some actions. Look at the likes of and Nathaniel McGill, I mean Bill Tuaway. Under a responsible leader, the U.S. Ambassador McCarthy made it very clear that nobody, you know, has contacted us for any information when it comes to these guys. So at that time, we expected that, hey, the Weir administration was going to raise fingers and say, hey, we want the information. Then they set up a thing to begin conducting an investigation. Now that we will have serious-minded people coming in, you know, to take charge of government, they will begin to request for the information. They will begin to request for those things, I mean, those indictments, I mean, those things, so that they'll be able to elevate the issues and cases or so. If we had a responsible government in power, the likes of McGill and others were in the first place were never going to participate in an election. So with the issue of Simon 2 and other who needs are now popping up, the government will begin to request for those information so that a body can be set up, an investigation resume, and go into it. Nathan, imagine, man, the guys stole a lot. These guys stole a lot of money. So it's just important.
I mean, they are not the first group of people to steal from Liberia.
We agree, but yes,
regime,
let's agree. Yeah, you know, and Nathan, you know, yeah, Nathan, let me just hold you there. We agree. And, you know, and most of the time, yeah, most often, and, you know, like we were here sedition saying, I mean, corruption did not start now. I agree. The problem of Liberia has been the lack of sincere and credible, you know, leadership. Nathan, we have to start from somewhere. I expected that the CDC government, with the tones of cries against rampant corruption, when it came to power, I expected that they were going to what? To order the Ellen's regime. You say Robert Steady stole money. What is your reliance? What is that data that we can be able to count on to say, oh yes, this is the level of corruption under the Ellen's government? No investigation was done. No honesty was done.
He took responsibility of that. That yes, I took responsibility of the misuse of funding. Even the army, Brandon Samuka was persecuted. We can go on naming.
Yeah, but you see, there were I would say when they bore holes, what they did, they bore holes and decided to tackle. And the issue of Brandon Samuka only came in because Samuka ran in Lofa and he won the election. If that was not the case, you are going to see that nothing was going to be done to Samuka. Trust me, the guys were never going to go. Most often, we hear about rampant corruption under the Ellen government. Oh, Robert said he did this, Robert said he stole this. Yes, I was in Liberia and I listened to President Salif sounding and making it very clear, taking responsibility at the level of Nuka. So when you come to power as a responsible government, you should begin to conduct investigation, call her so that she'll be able to answer some questions. But the Weir administration refused. But then there was just only this yes say, oh yes, the government was engaged in the corruption. We agree. But what can you rely on to say, oh yes, these are the
The
funding?
other reports from John
Yeah,
Model. John Model have dozens of other reports. He even branded Ellen Johnson's government as corrupt, 3 times
yeah.
corrupt.
But then we expected that the George Weah administration, they came to power, they should have pushed this particular something. So it
Maybe the Labour
appears,
Party government bribed them not to touch them.
yeah, but then who do we hold responsible now? And I
All of
can
them.
agree
It's a
with you.
cycle. It's a
No,
cycle of
and I
corrupt
can agree
officials.
with you. I will not deny, I will not reject, I cannot reject definitely that who knows there was some form of bargaining between the outgoing administration at the time, Ellen and George Weah. Hey, do this for me, I'm going to do this for you. In the first place, you observe that George Weah himself rated President Lee administration 80%. B, yeah, so I don't know. And other seditions say that rating was too high. But the president, the commander in chief, rated Ellen government as B. He gave her 80%. He did nothing about corruption when it comes to prosecuting the Ellen administration. They left it under the carpet. What can we say? But this administration under Joseph Yuma Boakai is not going to, you know, just allow, the river to flow. No, they'll definitely going to request for some of this information from the Americans, and they will set up a team to conduct what forensic audit. Liberia, like I listened to the former vice president and the president elect of the Republic of Liberia, Joseph Yuma Baka, said Liberia is not poor. That's true. We're talking about a population of 5 million, Nathan. The population in Minnesota is far more than that place. So a credible and responsible government can be able to answer to a lot of the questions and be able to ease the pain and elevate the livelihood and condition of the Liberian people. And I guess, and I believe strongly, that's what the Barker administration will be bent on doing. So that smiles can be what can counter the Liberian people again. We're talking about what? Rejuvenating the hopes of the Liberian people. Too much tears across the country. What can we do to resuscitate dead institution? What can we do about decentralization? My couple laying down all the way there in Lofa, when she coming back, when bringing goods to Monrovia, sometimes those goods get rotten along the road because of bad roads. Coming from Bassa or other areas, coming to Monrovia, the issue is bad roads. So those are things definitely that the Barker administration will tackle, and they are not going to sit there to allow somebody to steal a lot of money and for themselves and for their family. Hey, they will be tackled.
Is that not an old wine in new bottle, Papi? Your hair room is you gotta like bring your computer down a bit. That's good. Go ahead.
Okay, so in the first place, when I listen to you say old wine in new bottle, first of all, it's about us giving time and chance to this new leadership to take. They are listening to all of the conversation going on right now, and I know and I'm 100% convinced that His Excellency the President-elect would not, and like he said before, in his government, on countless occasions he have said it, in his government, no official, there will be a periodic audit. No official absolutely going to work in his government would argue having an exit audit or before taking office. Or you will first of all, answer declaration remain key. But Mr. Josh, we are like Akwe said, they took the hem of authority. He delivered a nicer speech at SKD. Oh, The struggle has ended. Now it is about time for Liberians not to be spectators in their own economy. But guess what? Liberian under his leadership were not only spectators, but they were not even privileged to come close to the field. How disenchanted the Liberian were. All of the shots and deals were caught by Claudia brother at the end of the day. Looking at saying, oh, Mrs. Sirleaf government were corrupt, they did this, everything. They paraded with casket, they're going to bury her, they're going to do this. Not a day. They came out with a comprehensive audit to say, oh yeah, we take on this ministry. Like Akwe said, the only reason why Mr. Brani Samuka's situation came out, it was all because he contested in the process with the ruling establishment and he flogged them. He flogged them. And they could not just accept that. At the end of the day, Delon had just whipped the ruling establishment back to back. So just seeing a repeat of defeat until today, the mean man, which is the president, was defeated. Imagine a 57-year-old going into a competition. I remember he had a Facebook conversation with his special aide. Say, Carrasco, me, look at me. Like me, Joseph Boaka can ever win me. I was not in government. I defeated Joseph Boaka. I mean, you win the first election. We all know what happened in 2017. We all know what happened. There were no, I mean, people were just tired, and at the end of the day, people were never wanted to repeat that issue of unity party. If Joseph Boaka was just going to be coming from another political party, under no circumstances, we're going to be president in 2017. And, 2017.
So nice. Liberia is a try and error. Try me for 12 years, try the person for 6 years, try the other person for 12 years. It's the two party. Because what we're saying, like other person mentioned, Kanga is saying, it's like old wine in new bottle. Most of the ministers, even the transitional team, I keep saying this over and over. Mm-hmm. The transitional team, these are things that we look at. We're saying old wines coming back. This Robert Clark wants to join. I don't know if that's a Robert Clark from journalist Robert Clark. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so Akwa, if you know, you can send him the link. I'm not friendly with him. You can send him the link to John.
Okay.
So looking at these things, everyone, they are sitting at the edge. Oh, these same people are coming back. Though Joseph Boaka is the leader, but all of those in your ears. You've been around the president, Akwe. You know when you travel with the president, the like of her ministers. They dictate the day-to-day activities of the country. They are the one who say, them another person, let's do the other one, let's take the other one, let's do this. You and I know. You apart when the camera is off, when you sit in the living room, you know what happens behind these things. And that's where decisions are made. And so we are afraid that there will be no changes, even though Joseph Iman Boaka is the man, but these same people are coming back. We've seen all of the old foreign ministers are there. We've seen all of the commerce ministers are coming back. Deputies, they are all floating in the room. What can you say?
Brother, in the first place, Nathan, like I said, these people, and I will tell you for a fact, one of the problems that Mr. Weah had, people are chanting, I will say, he feel that the best way to reward them was to give them cabinet position, whether they had a competence, whether they had a technical know-how. But as long as you shouted, I will say, and you force your way some kind of way, they put you to give you a position at the end of the day. But you know what? Do you know the reason why Mrs. Sirleaf first time she succeeded with certain things? When Mrs. Sirleaf won in 2005, do some more work, At the end of the day, Mrs. Sirleaf did not just say, oh, because Nathan Child was shouting, Ellie must win, automatically I will make Nathan Child's Minister of Information. No. She saw the capacity gap. Sent out Mr. Nathan Charles for like 4 years, have his study done, come on and like observe, bring him on board. With that, at least. So for me, Olibaki King Aguilera, like for example, Samuel Kofi Wu, these are the people that should be on the team. These are the people. Because they have the idea, they have the technical know-how. At the end of the day, the young ones, they need to exercise the restraint so that they can be able to learn. But you are just talking about try and error. We're not going to be trying. I mean, how will you look at, for example, Nathan? For example, right? Somebody who supported maybe the United Party Alliance. For example, you look at Julius, one, I just, he's a bit with Jeremiah. He's with Jeremiah Kuhn. You look at Julius, for example. He's saying he was close to Jeremiah Kuhn. I will send Julius to the Ministry of Commerce as Minister of Commerce because of his political alignment. No idea, nothing. At the end of the day, the same problem that we're facing today will be the same problem that we all will come back here again and be complaining. Do we want to continue that? No. So should we have problem with experts or ex-minister or ex-official? Even, for example, if Mrs. Sally can even make herself available to be a consultant to the president-elect, which I don't think she's going to even accept.
Because resign from politics now.
Because she's on record. She said if Joseph Boga become president, him will grow in her pan or she must
that's political talk. You don't take no political talk. I mean, you don't take any politics serious.
Yeah.
So I mean,
conclude.
So I mean, so for me, I do not really see it as a problem. You don't want to have inexperienced people part of the transitional team. They don't even know what they're looking for. Or they don't even know what are the questions that they're supposed to be asking. Like, for example, on the transitional team, you see people like Amos Tuer. Amos Tuer has served as deputy minister before. He knows the working of government. You got Samuel Kofi Wu, who is chairing that committee. Mienta Famule, who is part of the inaugural committee, the joint inaugural committee. These are people who are experienced, These are people who are experienced. So, for example, should we go Walasa Market because, no offense, because Mantewa were there with a United Party Lapa at the end of the day to send her to the mansion? She will not know what she's going to ask for, or she will not know what's happening down there. So they will just screw her up. So for me, I do not really have problem with
let's hear from you. Akoy, I told you to send Robert Clark the link. He's trying go ahead.
I sent a link to Clark Roberts, and definitely I guess he's making preparations to come on the show. So Nathan, the thing is, I also share the view with Papi. Let's be able to cloud our government with all of the cream de la creams that we have, with the best and brightest. That's what we want, so that we can be able to move our country forward. And trust me, the Barker administration is not going to be like, like the Weir's court administration, that has about 2 to 3 weeks now. You can take a high school graduate, man, somebody who is just very inexperienced. You take them, somebody who has not even handled, a $500 budget before, $500, and you begin to put them over millions of dollars or thousands of dollars to begin to head it. Look at the Minister of Agriculture. You see the position I brought here? How to call him Wisa? I was able to do my own research, and I agree with Papi so much. The least person that served that particular position before was a master, 2 master degrees at the Minister of Agriculture. At the Minister of Education. But then you take it and you give it to a university dropout that we said did not even graduate from the University of Liberia. That's a dropout. You take Jefferson Koji, who has never had any experience in government, and you place him at the Morovia City Corporation, and he transmute or transform the city corporation into a political theater, having press conference every day. Take a whole CDC job and put it right to the city corporation. You take another high school graduate and you make him deputy minister. Information. They were just all over the place. We are never had the real technocrats to move the government forward. He lacks that. His administration definitely lacks that. When you have the best and brightest, they will be able to make resounding decisions, to be able to come up with information. Look, I observed President Salif during the poverty reduction strategy. Let's say all we can say, but she was able to bring on board all of the cream de la creams, the best mind. Look at and what she started doing. Look at the likes of Zeze. What she did, she sent them to Harvard School of Government. And a good bit of them, they were able to learn one or two things to improve themselves. That's what we're talking about. But the guy sat right there, no further improvement. And we heard people cry and complain, even about the very degree that Jefferson Koji had from the University of Liberia, not going to classes. And you say the man graduated with what? Magna cum laude or what cum laude? What's that, man? It was a complete stab in the back. It was a complete disservice to the education system. And you can't do that. And that's why his government performed the way it did, because you had flunkies, you had people who were not prepared to run the affairs of government. And because that technical know-how was never there, they were bound to fail. And that's why they failed.
Okay, they were bound to fail, and that's why they failed. Let's look at this. Let's play this clip for you and tell me what do you make of it. This is a group that is latching at the U.S. government.
Liberia will not take America to be a super country. If I were the president now, I would tell America, you're leave. Okay. America is not a super country. 2 years from now, we'll tell them, say, who your TV, you're taking it. You're go back.
What do you make of that? And you see,
Man,
the placard reads America to a resource of our economy.
Nathan, brother, why will you even waste our time to even play the thing? Don't be wasting our time.
Views matter.
It make no sense. It make no sense. Look at a young man who say, look at a young man who is referring to America not to be a serious country. His life is not even serious. Even your own parents are born in not serious. Because if he come on a good parent, I'm dead serious about it. Look at even his colleagues are standing around him, they're laughing at him. The $10, the $15 I was given him from the finance ministry, he finished eating there. And the man standing there say, in fact, next year they want the American government to take DV for him. Can you imagine? Man, play another team, man.
And let me see if I can hammer in on that one. That boy is just one of the many pay agents of the CDC-led government, and that's what the guys do. Look, you can misbehave, and when people begin to gather you legally, and you pay people, to get on the street to disturb, to cause noise, and that's what happened right there. That boy was just giving, and invited his entire group, just giving some money. Look, go on the street, be able to do this. While he's speaking, his colleagues are even mocking him. They are laughing at him. This is the greatest nation on earth. Everywhere around the world, Nathan, people expect to come here. And that's one of the reasons why, for me, I never used to take the George Weah government serious. You had a finance minister you had a foreign minister who could not come here. Yeah. How? Look, this is where people come to lobby. This is where people, like in our Liberian parlance, will say, this is where government and leading institutions around the world come to look for it. But then if you can't come here, then I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, America is a great nation, says James Akwe, and I know he
You're the
probably
greatest nation on earth,
living
man.
the American
Yeah.
dream. Let's move on to our next topic. The race for the speakership. We've seen over the weeks, names are surfacing. We spoke last time. Benedict was in the news. He wanted to become speaker. Few days later, he came down to say, look, I want to be deputy speaker. Now we're seeing political cross capping. You guys been reading the political theater from Liberia. Papi Cully covered the legislature before. But staffers at the legislature are now putting the voice into this matter. Mr. Brown, Charles Brown, led a group of staffers who asked their bosses to support Mainman Bridge for deputy speakers. Few minutes after, another group of staffers surfaced and said they are not in the know. Let's play the clips. Then we'll go to Richard Cohn, the UP alignment. Then we'll have a discussion about that. Let's play first with Charles Brown, followed by the group who disassociated themselves from Mr. Brown's statement.
Endorsement statement to the deputy of the hands tall as a lone standing advocate, which will not be forgotten. During this event, Honorable Meza opposed that it was illegal to cut salary of staff of the legislature, as opposed to what was stated in the Harmonization Act. In light of the foregoing mentions, we want to make a fervent call to members of the House of Representatives to please elect Honorable Mainman Bridge Meza as the next Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives.
So, few minutes after he said these things, another group surfaced on Capitol Hill with their statement.
Of the legislature, we are taken aback by that decision of staffers of the Senate and the House of Representatives have met to come up with a disclaimer on the position statement by Mr. Charles Brown. So I read the position statement. Concept of Honorable Mainman Bridge. We want to make it very clear and attach ourselves on the decision of endorsing Honorable Mainman Bridge Meza, Representative District Number 6, Pond County, for Deputy Speaker position. In view of the above concerns, the General Staff Association will make a position on who to endorse for the Deputy Speaker position in the coming days in our general meeting.
And that was an official there from the other staff association at the National Legislature. After Mr. Brown came up to endorse Mainman Bridge as Deputy Speaker, asking his colleague, though they don't have no voting right, but that's their position. They feel that she's somebody who can push for the agenda. Now came Richard Cohn. He had a press conference discussing about the alignment from the Unity Party angle. Let's listen to Richard Cohn that will come with our guests to discuss more.
The Unity Party is alliance have agreed to work with Honorable Musa Ability of the CPP. We have come up with a merger to make sure that the both black end up producing the leadership of the House. In detail will accompany later. Thank you.
Questions?
There's the feeling among a lot of Unity Party members that Belletti was a great opposition to the Unity Party. How come he became part of this arrangement? Do you really trust him?
In politics, there's nothing called trust. At a particular time and situation, if such a condition exists for victory, to take any alliance that will make you victorious. At the end of the day, all the details will follow.
Politics do not have trust. You listen to Richard Cohn there when he addressed the press over the alignment. You've been walking the corridors of the legislature, speaking legislative terms. What do you make? What's your own reaction so far?
First of all, Nathan, what is happening on Capitol Hill is not strange. couple of weeks ago, who were right here, I said the same thing. I said Musa Belete and the rest, they're not going anywhere. Right? This race is a two-horse race. And at the end of the day, we see this race between a United Party candidate and somebody from the CDC. And that would be Councillor Jonathan Fonati Kofa. But guess what? We know the dictates and the activities of the legislature. The day on election day, specifically on the 15th of January, when the gentleman returned to Capitol Hill to get inducted into office, believe me, we'll come back here and at the end of the day, you will get it. You get it. For example, now people say, "Oh, Councillor Fonatikova has 50 lawmaker, 40 lawmaker." All these speculation, there will be cross carpeting at the end of the day, but the main decision will be the night of the election, and at the end of the day, since legislatively speaking, since I cover the legislature, it's just so difficult for the ruling establishment to not be in the position of the speakership. That's the first thing. To see Mr. Kofa winning the speakership, the possibility is very slim. It's not just possible. It's not just possible. We saw it with Rick Stewart and Alex Starter. Rick Stewart had almost half. Rick Stewart went ahead buying pickups for lawmakers, other new lawmakers. But at the end of the day, election day on Capitol Hill in a joint chamber, things changed hands. At the end, it didn't go his way. Then he wanted to reverse to be a deputy speaker. That way, later knew, may his soul rest in peace, Hans Bashu came from nowhere and wanted to be deputy speaker. So all the names we're hearing at the end of the day, Mama Bri Meza, I want to be deputy speaker, or we're working with Alliance to make sure Musa Belete go. That decision, the main compromise will be within the chamber on election day. And this is a two-horse race. It's a two-horse race at the end of the day. So to just see
the names that are coming up in terms of integrity, can they be pushing? Are they people of integrity to lead our House of Representatives?
Well, particularly if we talk about integrity, then among all of those who wanting to be speaker, then Rachel Kun will be, the lesser evil. Because for the past 6 years, he been in the legislature. He has been a flow fighter. And he has been one of the low legislators who don't just back on issues. But
with the signing of the budget and other things, you say he's still coming with clean hands. He has some shady deeds, dirty closets.
Yeah, those are. He
said that they are corrupt in the legislature.
Even they themselves will say it, or the Yaka Koluba and other people will come out to say the same thing. But at the end of the day, Nathan, everybody on Capitol Hill, if we're looking at the lesser evil, I think Representative Richard Nangbe Kun is the lesser among every one of them. Whoever thought of alliance for Musa Belete to align with Unity Party? It's a very big decision. Like he said, detail will follow later. But these are work in progress. And legislatively, if you are working on something in progress, it's not a surety. At the end. Because, the main political maneuvering will happen on the day of election.
James Akwe, do we need a rubber stamp legislature?
No, we don't need it. But, just as you said,
Yeah, Funati Kofa
When
is
it
the
comes
best
to
man.
the issue, yeah, when it comes to the issue of an election there at the legislature, Papi spent some time there, and the real drama can be on the day of election. But I can say this much: looking at the individuals in these elections, and furthermore, I can also say that when it comes to the issue there as a legislature, Nathan, it has to do with collaborating and forming partnership on both sides of the aisle. You have to do that. So if there will be instances where you have to dance with the devil and to get aims accomplished, definitely you're going to do it. But I definitely do not think that Funati Kofa will be a better choice. Why am I saying this? Funati Kofa is a convicted felon here in the US. That's one of the things. The man was tested here as a town manager in North Carolina, and there's the issue of corruption over him. We're talking about 1.5 million US dollar. Though this is not something that was committed in Liberia, but this is an act, in another country. We can close our eyes to this. If the man was held culpable in an advanced system, then imagine what's more he's going to do serving as Speaker of the country. Fonati Kofa served as Deputy Speaker, and he allowed the CDC to get it all. Everything that the CDC wanted. It was just something very soft, easy, and smooth. You see, so I do not believe that we should rate, the leadership of our legislature by giving it to Funati Kofa again, the convicted felon here from the US. We're talking about, an advanced system, well tested, and the rest of it. If he could do that here, raw people here, imagine what he might do in Liberia there. So I think we will be causing more harm by allowing Fonati Kofa to sit there. One, two. What I know also about the position of speaker, you are going to be the one to allow agenda items to come on the floor. And we are talking about prosecution, yes, setting up what the pace for what for those guys to be tested when it comes to the rule of law, and they appearing to give reasons how they acquire millions. They acquire this wealth. We do not want for Franti Kofa to be the kingpin, to be the decider of what comes on the floor when it comes to discussion. We do not want for Funati Kofa to be the one to say, yes, we are going to allocate money for roles here. This is what we are going to discuss. Konafi served as the deputy speaker. What did he do serving as deputy speaker? So do we want to continue giving people try and error? Is he going to do this? No. So in my view, we should not give it to Funati Kofa. I do not know Rachel Kuhn much, but I want to believe that Rachel Kuhn will be able to push the agenda of the Unity Party. He's not going to, I will not say that maybe we want a rubber stamp administration, but you and I live here in the US. The Democrat will not be there and advocating for a Republican speaker or candidate or so to serve as Speaker of the House. In like mind, I will also wish that the position of speaker, even if it is not a candidate or a lawmaker from the Unity Party, but he should not be someone, who, sat there before and allowed the CDC to get it all. Mind you, we have told us that he's going to come back. So we need to be careful here.
Papi, you want to add up? Can we entrust people of Funati Kofa and the likes of Kuhn? Do we need a rubber stamp legislation?
I do not think the the country that we have right now, we need a robust legislature. No, rather, we need a robust legislature that will be able to foster the agenda for the forward march of the country. We're talking about misappropriation of funds here. And the government of Mr. Bwaka have vowed to have a systemic audit. And as you may be aware, like James said, the speaker approve agenda items or what go on the agenda. So at the end of the day, you do not want where, for example, you have a report that's supposed to be endorsed by plenary that will just be languishing in committee room until the 6 year ends. So these are key things, because at the end of the day, the speaker is the man who will be cutting the shots. And before you talk about having him remove that another political distraction in the country, another political distraction. So it is about time. And for me, I'm convinced that Mr. Richard Nangbe Kun, who happen to be a staunch member of the United Party, is the best choice to be speaker at this time. And I believe and convinced that he will be a better speaker because he has the knowledge. He worked within the system. He knows his way around. And moreover, he knows what goes on the floor and what stir the flow up. So these are key things that we should take into consideration, but not to just say because someone say, oh, they won't be speaker at the end of the day, or we answer onto it. And I know the executive, as you may be aware, the executive can have serious interest in the speakership election because it is about fostering the agenda of the president or the government. And you do not want to have a legislature at the end of the day, the president is not relaxed or the president agenda is being stalled.
Yeah.
So those
we should just be associate also.
This is not about associate.
Nathan, let me just squeeze in. Let me just squeeze in also. And Funati Kofa served as deputy speaker. We observe that a lot of concessions agreement, Nathan, were signed without the acquiescence and even involvement of the PPCC. No bidding process. The guys just went ahead and they did it. Funati Kofa was part of that spoil system. Why would we want to bring him in again? What is he going to fix?
So Richard Kuhn was not a member. Richard Kuhn was also a representative.
Yes. Richard Kuhn was part of the legislature, but and I will definitely defend Richard to say that he was not part of those individuals who definitely going to decide what comes on the floor. But Funati Kofa was just next door to Buffer Chamber, my brother. And all of these things, we're talking about roads. You and I sat right here. We listened to the U.S. ambassador when he visited medical facilities. Paracetamol was not there. Funati Kofa served as deputy speaker. Let him begin to give us information or provide at least some form. What did he do with a budget of 1.5 million, man? What happened to that? We agree. Let Funati Kofa begin to explain to us, to the Liberian people, what was done with $1.5 million. Why this, $1.5 million, case, that he went through, convicted of, felon here in the U.S. That alone should ring a bell. We should be afraid. We should be afraid that a man convicted in the U.S. in a fireplace, that brother should not have been nowhere closer to power. But again, our system is such that you get little money in your pocket, You can dish it out. You can get almost anything that you want. The
So
likes
what
of
can you
Musa
say?
Belete too. I would say this way.
Fine. What can you say?
Even
I was
Musa Belete,
once he's aligned
yeah,
with the
even
unity
Musa,
party.
yeah, yeah, even Musa Belete too. That be friends should not anywhere be near power. Look here, Nathan, the new Liberia that we want to build, we have to be clear. We have to be very, straightforward in dealing with issues. We're just talking about a population of 5 billion. There should be policy designs. There should be an issue that will be laid down that will benefit the ordinary people. We see that. Imagine you get one lawmaker making 10 to 12,000 US dollar. Nathan, you and I live in the US. How many persons in this country? Check it out. We have an annual budget, or we have annually to work for over 100,000. Check that out. But then the guys, they don't go to work every day. Papi, you work
Except
you,
except
you
you do business.
Yeah, Papi,
Except,
yes, Papi, you serve as a legislative reporter. The guys do not go to work every day.
no,
I think,
that
yes,
Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday,
Tuesday and Thursday.
the rest of the day they can say they
In
can work
fact,
in
I
committee
will join
rooms.
others. Then look, let begin to slash down money and allocate that to the legislature when it comes to salary, so that we reduce this rush for the legislature. People see it as job, but
Yeah,
there should be service oriented, where people go there to render service. But now, even for 4 or 5 seats, you have more than 400 people vying for a while, because it has to do with the budget. It has to do with the huge salary associated with the job. We should even pay the guy part time, because you go to work only 2 or 3 times in a week, but then we pay you and for the entire month, or for the entire week or so. It's not
yeah.
fair. Yeah, so and I know definitely that
They
the
work in
incoming
committees.
government,
They have committees meetings, so they work not only
yeah,
Tuesday and
let's
Thursday.
agree. I mean, but Nathan, whatever the case, Liberia, like I listened to the vice president yesterday when he said the country is not poor. Liberia is not poor. The problem of the country has been this lack of sincere, honest, and credible leadership, the counterpower to be able to move the country forward. And at least
Okay.
one can say that we are not too far from that leadership. In fact, we have it already, and we're beginning to see those screws to be reattached in real hard, so that the budget reflect the what the livelihood of the NRA people. Let the budget be people oriented, in the sense that, look, reduce the salary for lawmakers. Let's begin to tackle projects in those towns, in the villages, talking about roads, talking about improved medical facilities in those towns and villages. That's how we are going to improve this little country and impact the lives of less than 5 million people. Around 43,000 square miles.
Okay, thanks very much, James Akwe. Let's go over to you, Papi Colley. You've been visiting the town hall meeting of Babulu County Senator-elect Amara Kane, and he's been speaking to his people there in the brotherly love and sisterly affection state, Pennsylvania, in the United States. Can you get us to speed with what he has been saying?
Well, first of all, first of all grateful to the diaspora Liberians for their unflinching support for change, and also encourage them not to only sit here in the diaspora uh, to see their remittance, but rather it's about time to come back home to join folks and work in their country and work in their country. So he also said during the town hall that Liberia is at a crossroad. There are speculation that, oh, he's the one want to cause confusion. He's and Amara was clear. Amara said this government is pretty much new, it is about time. I will be sitting on Capitol Hill. I'm not going to be the one to be crossing the road to the executive mansion or to go to finance ministry to allocate. As we speak, there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of gaps, especially our economy is completely shocked too. So it is about time we do the necessary visits where he indicated that the president-elect and him will be in DC tomorrow. Will be in DC tomorrow, where they will be having series of meetings. They got meeting at the IMF, they got meeting at the World Bank, and some congressional member and some senior officials of the Biden administration. And these are things our past administration or the outgoing administration did not do because they know how the lobbyists or they know how the connections. They know how the connections. So those are key things that Mr. Amarakone indicated and also encouraged Liberian not to only sit back, like I said, to be sending money, but rather they should follow the money and follow the projects. He also spoke about the 100-bedroom hospital that was built by the CDC-led government, the Emory Hospital in Bapolu County. That there should be there's a need for that 100-bedroom hospital to be a regional hub for Bapolu, Bomi, Cape Mount, as well as some part of Bon County and Lofa as well. And also he spoke about the building of a Western Liberia University that will cater for the Western Belt, the Western Region Belt. That is Bapolu, Cape Mount. Not only a TV, but a university should be built, and that university should be located in Bomi County. He said he's going to the legislature, specifically the Senate, to be able to work with his colleagues from those counties so that they can work on modalities. Where, for example, you have a county development fund or social development fund or legislative break. I mean, some unnecessary things should be cut off. He also made mention of it.
Is this the Amara Kona who served as finance minister who helped craft the budget of our country saying these things? When did he realize all of these things now?
I mean, so if you say when did he realize all of those things, this is the same Amara Kone that once upon a time the legislature were about to send him to jail. Do you remember that? Do you remember that situation? So he was not only sitting, he was not only sitting at the finance ministry doing nothing, but rather, I mean, fixing the problem. But at the end of the day, he was just an appointed official. He worked through the wills and pleasure of the president.
He was not just. He controlled the financial, the economy of our country. He was not just an ordinary, like Samuel Tue. He's not just an ordinary person. He's not just.
I know that. I know, but your question that you asked, is it the finance minister? I mean, is it Amara Kone that served as finance
we
minister?
need technical college between this, but when he was there, he was the architecture of all of the proposal in the budget of our country.
Okay. Proposing from the proposing from the executive, it has to get a legislative approbation. You know that, right? Now he's within now he's within the legislature. Those are things that he took into the legislature. You know, those are things he's going to take to the legislature so that they can be able to like lobbying with his colleagues, like he said.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. James Akwe, let's wrap up. Time is not in our favor. We'll have roughly 8 minutes. Let's look at this Joseph Boga administration. What different can it make from the George Weah leadership? That's the final question, and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
4 minutes each person.
Okay, but we can begin to see I mean, the
James,
chief.
your head is cut off. If you could just back a bit, your head is cut off. Okay, right there, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, we can begin to see. Changes and already filtering in. When it comes to the Buckeyes, administration. We are hearing of audit, and this is something the we administration refused to do, and to the early administration, yet they sit there, cry and complain that of corruption under the early administration. Under the Barker administration, you will begin to see individuals who will be clean in their acts, in their areas. The level of professionalism we're talking about, and that they will bring forth when it comes to moving the country forward. It's important to bring on board, individuals, who are clean in their areas of of education to serve in the government, and moreover, you will see that I mean, they'll have the necessary connections, to be able to tap into things. Like, I can tell you this much. The works of Amara Conan and many others. The works of Amara Conan. Along with President Salih, definitely, we saw what happened in the country. We saw debt being alleviated or pay or waived by the IMF at the time. It has to do with what putting on board credible individuals, sincere, they're committed to their tasks. The likes of and who and Antoinette Saye, you see, she brought on board. It was intended, you know, and a lot of other guys started learning under Antoinette Saye, and some of the best minds and brains and creams that President Salih brought on board. So people took the government serious. But then, looking at the Weir administration, you begin to place someone. I mean, it was not bad to bring Jefferson Koji on board. No, it was not bad. But it was good to put him somewhere where he would begin to learn. It was good to play Wise somewhere where he would begin to learn and he will pick up from there. Send a lot of these guys on scholarship so that they will come and learn one or two things. Even Amara Conan, one point in time, came here to the at the Harvard School of Government, and to be able to brush up and things. That's what we expected. And you will see, look, you will see the best and brightest, of Liberia coming on board, and that's and trust me, because you see the best and brightest coming on board, they will do the right thing. They will be able to come out with the right design, the right blueprint to move the country forward. We're talking about what? More roads to be built across the country. I want to see a Monrovia or a Liberia where I will be able to get in a vehicle and drive from Painesville Red Line to go to where? To Grand Cru in few hours, not days. No, just if you Liberia is a very small place. You can drive from here to Texas and other areas in so short a time because of paved roads. That's what we want to see. And Buckeye has told us time of our numbers that one of the things he's going to tackle head on is roads, roads, roads. And you know what roads comes along with? It's going to help our people to bring, more goods to the market. It's going to help Maseba and Martine to bring her goods, and those goods will not get rotten along the road. Also, you will begin to see medical facilities with the right equipment, with the right professionals to be able to run those institutions. You will begin to see some of the best minds within the educational sector to be able to revitalize the educational system again so that our children will be able to learn. Let's look at the recent situation with WAS. Up to now, what I know, I don't even know whether, the government or whether, schools across Liberia, have even released this WAS result. Why? Because, a good bit of them were just unprepared. Students too, not really prepared, went to this exam, and a lot of them really failed. You will also begin to see a very strong economy, a very strong economic system. Trust me, the high rate of the US dollar, I mean, I mean, because of measures that will be put into place, at least we will begin to see, I mean, I mean, at least let the bring and dollar be value again. Let the bring, I mean, dollar have some value. You will begin to see concession agreement that will be signed and in the interest of the people. Years back, we saw how iron ore left the country. And some of those places where iron ore left the country from, you don't even have a single hospital. You don't have roads there. But the guys are much more concerned about putting huge trucks along the road to carry these iron ore. So yes, we're talking about a responsible government that will sign concession agreement that will work in the interest of the people. Those are the changes definitely. I mean, you will begin to see under the Barker administration, and we are not talking about quick fix here. We are not
Okay,
saying
James
that these
Akwe.
things.
Okay, James Akwe. You can just lay back and name the whole 100 days of Joseph Human Boga and Jeremiah Cone. I know our fingers are crossed to see which road they will go. It says that if your Christmas will be good, you can know from the eve. Let's see if we can bring in our Papi Sifakoli. What do we expect under the Joseph Human Boga leadership? Then we just say bye because his time is not in our favor. Papi, quick, under 2 minutes.
So what's the question?
What do we hope to see under Joseph Barker leadership?
All right. First of all, transparency,
Yep.
good governance, farm to market rule, that will enable our people to bring their produce to the market to make ends
Yep.
meet for themselves instead of depending on people from moreover to give them handout. And when we talk about honor transparency, now where people will come to government, we don't know what they're coming with. Some people were in zinc shocks. They never owned a one bedroom before, but at the end of the day, 90 days into that leadership, specifically at Nathaniel McGill, we heard that he got a loan from LBDR for 100,000 to go buy a house. I hope this will not happen under the Joseph Barker leadership. There should be a credential audit, because it is about time they send out a fine CV, but those credentials they will be submitting, it should be audited. I mean, verify before even they take office. With that, it will give us and whoever that will be announced as foreign minister must have that direct connect with the OSA war that will enable us to reconnect with our international partners. Now where we have a foreign minister, then we have an internal affairs minister. The foreign minister is acting in as the internal affairs minister because they are incapacitated to travel or to make certain travel or because of restriction. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and let me just squeeze in one or two things. And also under a Barker administration, you are not going to have a foreign minister who cannot travel. Look here, man, this was a complete embarrassment. You had a foreign minister under the Georgia administration who could not travel. Hey God,
Why
especially
is
to the
that?
US.
He been all around Africa with the president. He was
Yeah,
traveling.
so later we're talking about coming to the US, and this is the greatest nation on earth.
Let's say,
We
don't think he
also
could not
talking about
travel.
under the Barker administration will be investment friendly. And this is the cream of the cake to be investment friendly because government alone would not be able to create all the jobs. So when you are investment friendly, strong and tight on the issue of the rule of law, that's how investors will come to the country, jobs will be created, people will work, be able to send their children to school, place food on the table. Under the Barker administration, you are not going to see a government that will be struggling and one a minister or deputy or so, goes on Facebook and begin to eat in a very expensive dish. No, I want to believe that government official will be paving his way for expulsion from the government. People complaining, yeah. I mean the rest of it. Then you go on Facebook and you eating a very expensive dish. Oh man. Also under the Buckeye administration, you will not see. I mean Joseph Jimo Buckeye in a private jet where I mean he's going to get this, get a private jet for himself. No, because the old man will be much more concerned about how he can improve the livelihood of the ordinary people. And that's what he's going to be focused on. And that's why Liberians, definitely knowing his heart, voted him with their whole heart.
Indeed, James Akwe there, talking about the Joseph Yuma Boyka leadership under his tenure. We hope to see something new because all Liberians, all eyes and ears and everything
And
are
again,
watching.
Nathan, it's not going to be a quick fix because George Weah and his criminal administration succeeded to some extent in damaging the entire country in every sector for that matter. This will not be a quick fix, but Liberians will begin to see sincere and genuine steps toward prosperity. Sincere, genuine, and credible steps toward prosperity. It will not be a quick fix because the damages done to the country is just so much and just so huge.
Indeed, it's just so much and so huge. Thank you, guys. We'll be here again next Sunday, looking at the whole issues in Liberia. We know every day something will surface from Liberia, so we'll be here on the Diaspora Talk to digest and dilute all of the information during the week. It was a pleasure again talking to you. Thanks for the time. I mean, I do appreciate the sacrifices, leaving the family on
And
Sunday.
let me send it out to all. I mean, Liberians here. I mean, to this part of the U.S. We're talking about in Waterloo, the president of the Liberian Association, and of course, the man Cornelio J. Davis, the former president, and my big brother, of course, the man Jake Johnson, and my mother and my sister as well, who just celebrated her birthday on Friday, Manzo Akwekabe. I say again, happy belated birthday to my niece there, and to my nephews out there, right there, now in Morovia for this wedding. We say we are with you, and trust me, we are with you. And this KMTV, you will begin to see things on KMTV that you will do right out there in Morovia. I hope Nathan does not hold me and charge me for advertisement I'm doing.
Because I'm sending you a bill. I will not charge you, but I'll just send you a bill. They come in the mail. Thanks, Papi Sylvia Cody, all the way there from PA, who attended the event of Americana. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll come to next week. We'll look at the issue. Time was not in our field to digest all of the things we had planned for. The situation with Jefferson Kochi appearing at the court and his response to the dissension, the issues in Grand Gila County. We know that there is a high level of uncertainty, unrest in Grand Gila County since the death of the lawmaker there, Mason in Grand Gila County. Thanks so much. Transitional team said they don't want a dam as they usher in the new government. Kofi Wu spoke there during the meeting, press conference on the transitional team. And let's pray for Mama Liberia, the Diaspora Talk, my colleague, the lead presenter, Cyrus McGill. Hopefully, will be on the program tomorrow. We'll look at other issues in Liberia, and the foreign sector will be on the spotlight tomorrow. We'll have a guest who is coming, John Yomin. He'll be looking at the foreign sector on Liberia. What different can our foreign sector bring to the Republic of Liberia? Until we come your way again, have yourself a wonderful day. We say we love all of our comments, those who comment. We love you. We say continue to follow KMTV, share the broadcast, and support this network. As you know, KMTV is here for everyone. We are not here to discriminate. We are here to say, hey, this is what we do best, and we love it to do it more professionally. Have yourself a wonderful time from Monrovia, from Minnesota, from Iowa, Waterloo, from
Yes,
Pennsylvania.
Iowa, Waterloo.
Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.
Yeah.
Do the CDC.
Bye bye, Nathan, and thank you.
These public designations, without any due process, without any investigation to which those who are accused are involved, where they have the chance to dispel rumors and counter misrepresentations or misinformation, do not represent the values and norms of the democratic, free-loving America I have admired since my youth. I will argue here publicly that these outcomes do not represent the stated foreign policy objectives as conceived and understood by Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen, and by President Joseph R. Biden. I know these outcomes are the work of powerfully placed officials and bureaucrats within the U.S. government who have deep connections and relations here in Liberia and who are sworn to and are committed to weakening the CDC. The recent designations are a mere strategy to disorganize the CDC while the incoming government struggles to find its bearing and to prevent a powerful, experienced, and knowledgeable CDC from mounting the fiercest political opposition. I will also observe that this is the fundamental unfairness to the conduct of foreign policy in the country and against the government that has shown nothing but commitment to the stated foreign policy objectives and interests of the United States. President Weah has advised his cabinet and the larger calculus of foreign policy considerations impinging on American interests. He stands with the American people. Liberia has sided with all resolutions against China, against Russia, and even when the rest of Africa took a different position. Most recently, in the United Nations resolution to end war in the Gaza Strip, which would bring peace and end the killing and suffering of Palestinians, Liberia stood with America to say no to ending war. Despite this support, we still see the dismantling of the CDC. Yet we are made to believe that these designations are targeting individuals only. With the evidence at our disposal, we beg to disagree. The post-elections timing and character of recent designations are even more confusing and suspect. After President Weah elevated Liberian democracy in his graceful concession to President-elect Joseph N. Boakai, his government and party are being disintegrated by designations. In the Liberian Senate, either Senator Abbott Chie or Senator Emmanuel Nukwe stands today the strongest chance of being elected pro tempore to the Liberian Senate. CDC can claim at least
Metro Blue Line Transit Extension is in full swing and already discussions have begun headed by the Liberia Business Association, LIBA, one of the many groups that is leading the awareness in the communities. The proposed 13.5 miles of track will connect downtown Minneapolis to North Minneapolis, Robbinsdale, Crystal, Brooklyn Park, and will be a vital transportation expansion. The Blue Line Light Rail Extension Project provides an opportunity to invest in benefiting communities and reduce regional disparities. For years, dedicated teams of engineers, construction workers, and urban planners have been working tirelessly to extend the Blue Line, connecting communities, reducing congestion, and laying the tracks of a brighter future. As we journey through the diverse neighborhoods and communities along the extension route, we will discover the impact of this project on people's lives, the environment, and the region's economy, says LIBA Executive Director Jackson George, who is leading a group of business people whose businesses might also be affected.
The Blue Line is going to come. You know, whether it comes now or later, it's going to come. And when it comes, we better be prepared.
All small and micro businesses to get involved because it is important for you to be on the table. If you're not on the table, you're on the menu. So LIBA is leading the fight to ensure that small businesses are informed. Small businesses get the information that they need to make sound informed decisions.
Join our cause. Let's understand the project. Let's understand the workings. Let's understand the impact that this Blue Line going to have on our businesses, but equally also let's understand the opportunities that are coming to the city. These opportunities will help our businesses. Now we can have people coming into our cities as tourists. We can also have young people who are finding it difficult to find jobs because they need vehicles, insurance, and all of these things, can hop on the train, come to Brooklyn Park, and have a job. Young people can also hop on the train and go to universities and do other things. So there's an immense benefit to this project. But one of the things that we have focused on was the anti-displacement project, wherein businesses, minority businesses, are afraid that this development will displace us, gentrification will be an issue. We have worked through that. It's a continuous process. I don't think all of the dots are connected, but LIBA served on the anti-displacement committee. We did a lot of work in terms of alleviating the fears of small and micro businesses. Notwithstanding, we need to continue to fight. We need to continue to be engaged. We need to continue to be part of the process so that we understand the intricacies of this project. We understand the impact it's going to have on our businesses, but equally so the opportunities it brings to our businesses as well.
Meet the commuters who eagerly await the convenience and efficiency of the extended Blue Line as they share their hopes and dreams for a more connected and accessible Minneapolis.
I'm excited that the Hennepin County is making some strides to get involved in community engagement and make sure that the community voices are heard with regard to the Blue Line project. And that is a great step forward in helping people to know what the Blue Line is about, how do they intend to go about the project, and what are some of the major benefits of the Blue Line to the community and the members of the community. And at the angle of LIBA, we are grateful that we are part of this great initiative, and we're just excited that yes, we think the Blue Line is going to be good, it's going to help us and ease the transportation need.
We're going to have clients having easy access to our location. They don't have to drive up here. If they don't want to, they just hop on the train and then boom, they are here with us. So that's going to open doors for a lot of opportunities for businesses around here.
That having the Blue Line spots right in front of our business, oh my gosh, it's going to expose us. And on the other hand, we also do taxes. We just think it's going to make it a lot easier for people to, walk to our office, because I think the stop should be not very far from our office location. So we're going to have a lot of opportunities, and it's just a great deal for us. And we're so happy with, the policymakers, the leadership, and the head of the government of Brooklyn Park for initiating this process. I think it's the state of Minnesota or the Hennepin County, but we think it's really, 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 really going to be great.
Safety was a major concern for some residents, but Dan, head of the Blue Line project, provided how secure the train will be on the main road.
The trains will be using the traffic signals as well, and so it's fairly safe in terms of, it obviously is another thing on the street, but with how we'll design it and the safety measures we'll put in, we'll be very conscientious about making sure that works. So I can come down Bass Lake Road, so there'll be a bus stop there, so people can have a connection, get on LRT, and then go north or south. So this is kind of the plan here at Bass Lake Road.
That's all in your Go book that you have in your office. Right. So people, when you get back together next month, Jackson's got all the images, and they are available also online. And so what I'll do following up from today is I'll make sure you have a link to send to everybody, so that you can go online yourselves and really look at the images of what Dan is describing to you today.
The hospital's here, so LRT would come up, and it would be up higher. The county's building these two bridges right here on West Broadway, and they do not, the LRT does not fit between them. Because we would have known we were going to put LRT here when we built those bridges instead of on the railroad. We might have done it different, but here we are. So now here we come around here, and this will be in the air here. The station will be, and then there'll be access, elevators and stairs both the street and LRT together, but there's also advantages to not kind of squeezing them all in there, putting the LRT on 21st and leaving the roadway traffic on West Broadway. So we're kind of analyzing and looking at those two options. And then the last piece, when we get to Lyndale and West Broadway, and so one would be to come down Lyndale, have a station right by the freeway, and then come over 94. Or the other is to cross 94 up by West Broadway and then kind of follow this area along the side of Washington Avenue to 10th Avenue and put light rail in the middle and make it 2 lanes in each direction. Well, most of you guys probably drive on 81 a lot. The number one place where people end up stopping is at Bass Lake Road. So we would build an interchange. So through traffic, north and south on 81, never stops. It just goes up over Highway 81, or sorry, over Bass Lake Road. And say, if you want to go to Bass Lake Road and you're on 81, right now, you go to the intersection, you take a left turn, or you take a right turn, you would get off on a ramp, or on a ramp, down to Bass Lake Road, and then turn right or left.
The Blue Line has had a positive economic impact on the communities it serves, contributing to transit-oriented development, business growth, and increased property values along its routes, as former Brooklyn Park City Councilman Winfred Russell was concerned if such gesture will be extended to business people along the expansion line.
The whole issue of transit-oriented development and and what is the county doing to either incentivize or to help many of these businesses around here acquire land along the rail line.
The main benefit being around the type of transit service that this is. The benefit is that this is not commuter rail. This is this light rail system is running in 2 directions. It's running pretty much most of the hours of the day on a regular schedule. So that means it's a benefit for people to get from Brooklyn Park, from Crystal, from Robbinsdale, into Minneapolis, Bloomington, St. Paul, University of Minnesota, Eden Prairie. But also, it's an opportunity for people from all of those places to get to North Minneapolis, to Brooklyn Park, to Crystal, to Robbinsdale as well.
And so it's kind of its first of its kind. There are other agencies along in the nation that are adapting a little bit differently than what our approach is, but we really want this work to be a model for how we deliver these large infrastructure projects in the future, so that the community that exists, that we're building this for, actually stays in the community if that's what they desire to do. And so really saying this isn't, we're not doing this to you, we're doing this for you, and we want you to stay and thrive.
Never saw all of that. That's all brand new right there. Wow. I have not seen that.
And that's what light rail, the thing is, it does incentivize redevelopment, and we just have to direct it so it's for people who are already there,
Wow, this is brand new.
And again, the property appraised value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because right now it's really hard to direct even a couple of dollars to a project.
In a deep part, this is a Metro Transit train. They're going to own and operate the train. But Hennepin County is a really deep partner on the Blue Line extension. And we're committed to authentic engagement using community and cultural groups that exist in the corridor, have their natural connections and networks, and are trusted partners by their communities. So the county since 2020 has contracted directly with community and cultural groups to support the community engagement for this project.
You can see some preliminary plans already that are posted on the website. You'll also find a meeting page on our website. If you like Twitter, we're on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. And if you want a one-on-one interaction, we also have 2 outreach coordinators who are working on this project. And they cover various geographical areas. Brooklyn Park in Minneapolis, that's blue. Her email address is listed and her contact, her phone number.
The proposed project will provide transit improvements in the highly traveled northwest area of the Twin Cities metropolitan area and a 1-seat ride from Brooklyn Park to the Minneapolis International Airport and Mall of America. This is Blue Line Horizons, the Minnesota Blue Line extension. Let the journey begin.